The Middle East region teeters on the edge as Israel and Iran engage in their most devastating and direct confrontations yet. With US military assets from the USS Nimitz and the B-2 bombers deepening America's shadow in the region. President Trump's rejection of ceasefires in favor of total surrender signals a dangerous shift, blurring the lines between support and entanglement. Meanwhile, China and Russia maneuver diplomatically, positioning themselves as alternative mediators challenging Western dominance. As intelligence disputes simmer and global alliances evolve, the world watches. Is this the brink of war or a new world order in the making? I'm Anne Morsi. Welcome to Think Tank.
Our world is becoming unhinged.
The Financial Times has reported that tensions escalate as Iran's Supreme Leader Ali Khamenei threatens the US with irreparable damage should it join Israel's strikes amid reports of American military movements in the region. Israel claims successful attacks on Iranian nuclear and missile sites while intercepting Iranian drones, signaling both offensive momentum and defensive readiness. Meanwhile, Israel begins easing restrictions, allowing limited economic activity to resume, projecting resilience and a message of weakening Tehran. Internationally, Britain rules out joint US military action favoring diplomacy, while Russia warns of a potential nuclear conflict, urging restraint. As global powers tread carefully, the Middle East remains a volatile chessboard, where every strike, statement and sanction reshapes the fragile balance of power. Now, according to the Washington Post, Russia intensifies its diplomatic maneuvering, urging restraint in the Israel-Iran conflict while deepening ties with Tehran, as President Putin links Middle East stability to the Ukraine war. Moscow frames itself as a mediator, criticizing Western intervention and pushing for a multipolar world order. At the same time, Russia expresses concern over Israeli strikes on Iranian nuclear sites, warning of regional catastrophe, even as it maintains strategic cooperation with Iran and amid Western pressures. Amid the rising global tensions, Moscow positions itself as both a power broker and reluctant ally, balancing its interests in the Middle East and Europe, while the world watches closely as alliances shift and new fault lines emerge. As Israel bombs Iran with US backing, Trump demands total surrender, while China and Russia push diplomacy. The world teeters between war and peace, and America's role is about to change forever.
The aircraft carrier USS Nimitz, one of the largest warships in the world, heading toward the Arabian Gulf. This move comes as Israel intensifies its air campaign against Iran, backed by full United States military support and intelligence sharing. Satellite tracking data confirms the carrier's movement through the Malacca Strait, a strategic choke point for global trade, en route to the Indian Ocean and then into the heart of a growing conflict. The Pentagon calls this a defensive posture, but experts say it signals readiness for escalation. Israel launched what it called a preemptive strike against Iran, targeting nuclear scientists, military leaders, and underground enrichment sites. U.S. defense systems have already shot down dozens of Iranian retaliatory missiles, but Tel Aviv wants more. President Trump has rejected ceasefire calls, insisting that Iran must completely abandon its nuclear program. But U.S. intelligence maintains Iran is not building a bomb, and former CIA officials confirmed that assessment remains unchanged. As Washington tightens its grip on the region, China and Russia are positioning themselves as alternative mediators. China has condemned Israel's actions, reaffirmed diplomatic ties with Tehran, and warned against further escalation. Russia, though uneasy about the chaos, sees opportunity, leveraging its influence with both sides while distancing itself from U.S. policy. Moscow understands the cost of overreach, and it's watching closely as Washington risks entanglement in another endless war. Some lawmakers are pushing back. Congressman Ro Khanna is working to introduce a bipartisan war powers resolution to block Trump from dragging the United States into war without congressional approval. Behind the headlines, a shadow war is unfolding between nations, ideologies, and visions of global order, and the world watches to see whether the U.S. will choose diplomacy or destruction.
Providing more analysis about the tensions in the region, the polarization, and the role of greater powers in the ongoing war between Israel and Iran, we're joined from Moscow by Mr. Sergei Markov, former advisor to Russian President Vladimir Putin, and from Cairo by Mr. Ahmad Maharim, writer and political researcher. Welcome to both of you here on Think Tank. Thank you for joining us. Let me start off with Mr. Markov here. With Russia's positioning itself as a mediator between Washington and Tehran, how serious is Moscow's offer to de-escalate the crisis, and how does it risk being seen as a strategic ally to Iran rather than a neutral party in this conflict?
Russian position very rational and quite clear, understandable for everybody. Russia suggested that Iran can use Russian territory and Russian capacities for producing of nuclear materials for atomic power station of Iran. If United States and Europe and Israel very much concerned that Iran can use own technical capacities for producing not only nuclear materials for the peaceful nuclear power station, but also for the nuclear weaponry by using same technical methods. So these technical methods can be moved to the Russian territory. It could be useful, good for the whole world. It will get away any concern about Iran military nuclear program, but same time it will preserve capacities for Iran to develop own peaceful nuclear program. It's also profitable for Russia. So it's Russian suggestion, which is very clear and understandable.
Okay, Mr. Maharim, can we get your take here? Now, Egypt has historically played a stabilizing role in the region, and given the tensions that have been ongoing for the last 2 years, how concerned should the Arab capitals be when it comes to full-scale war between Israel and Iran, and what role can these countries like Egypt play in de-escalating the current situation?
I think the main question need an answer immediately. Are we going towards more diplomacy or destruction? I think with the power of Arab countries and the good relations between Arab countries and the United States, starting from Egypt, Qatar, and most of the Gulf states, I think they can do a better role for different reasons. Egypt and Jordan consider the most closer countries. They have, territory of peace since years with Israel. So they have some kind of influence with Israeli diplomacy. And meanwhile, most of the Arab region countries are having very much interest, political, economical, future, impact with the policy of the United States.
Mr. Mohammed, I'm sorry if I cut you off there, but if I could just follow up here. Now, you were saying Egypt obviously is a possible, mediator, but given the statements that are coming out from both sides, is it likely that diplomacy will win in this situation? Because it seems like the tensions are very, very high.
Well, the tension is so high, that's correct, but there is some kind of analysis also to the matter that what President Trump is talking about, it could be, or even the movement of all these weapons, towards the Gulf area, and so many assistant military to Israel. I think it's a kind of influence to the Iranian in order to apply or to do more closer to what President Trump is dealing with as a negotiation. The last Sunday is supposed to be meeting another 6 or 7 role of the meeting in Muscat of Sultanate Oman. It could be that kind of pressure America is trying to do. I think America is not on the favor of escalating the matter because I think Israel is not in a good position. Mm-hmm. But again, to have this kind of fully power assistance from America, it needs a lot of efforts from the American Congress. Mr. President Trump has to face difficulties with the Congress. Maybe not all of them will be agreed of what involvement of America in the region. So we have to wait and see. It could be at the last moment, diplomacy can do a little bit part.
Okay, Mr. Markov, can we get your take here? Now, do you agree with Mr. Muharrem, given that tensions are very high now and U.S. military assets like the USS Nimitz are starting to move into the Gulf, how likely is it that tensions are going to go down, especially after, the recent statements given by Trump that they're not sure where they're at? It could be both ways, full-out war or diplomacy.
I think that Donald Trump now is hesitating. On one hand, it's clear that Iran was enemy of United States of America during 45 years. And also on the same side, Israel is regarded as very close ally of the United States. On the same side, that Donald Trump team, the conservative Protestant Christians, they believe that Israel play a very important role in the history of human being. And but on the other hand, absolute majority of Americans against this American war against Iran. According to the last sociology, only 16% of Americans support military actions of United States against Iran, and 60% of Americans against this. So this is almost 5 times difference. And Donald Trump, his power very much based on exactly opinion of American people.
But what do you think, sir, that could possibly, motivate or move the U.S. towards all-out regional war rather than just diplomacy? Maybe like some sort of attack or something. What are the red lines, basically, for the Americans here?
My opinion that Donald Trump will increase pressure on Iran to agree on this peace deal. But Iranian leaders, they believe that these demands of the stopping nuclear program only step to the regime change activity of United States and Israel. And it's, I think, would lead United States to the big choice. And I think more probably United States will use some of the military capacities against Iran. First of all, they will use special rocket missiles and bomb for reaching...
Would this trigger a war, though? I mean, like, if Americans are involved, will the Iranians attack American assets?
I think now American intelligence service believe that if we see how Iran not strongly attacked Israel, it means that Iran will be not able strongly attack United States military base and specifically United States territory. So it looks like that now United States believe that Iran is too weak. And also should take into account that many years Americans afraid, first of all, terroristic attacks from Iran. And now Iran not using terroristic attack. And Americans afraid terroristic attack, but don't afraid Iranian rocket missiles.
Okay, Mr. Mohannan, can we get your take here? Now, do you agree with Mr. Markov that, you know, the tensions may subside unless Americans get involved, and then it would be a tit-for-tat situation? And also, the Israelis are easing restrictions at home, trying to project victory. Do you think this could, you know, somehow affect the regional perception of, you know, the possible end game for this situation here? Or is it just a tactic of war?
Well, definitely it will affect. And right now, we have not yet received or felt the influence or the power of Russia and China on the region. Usually, everybody is expecting that Russia and China have to show something on the region. They are very strong ally to the Iranian, but for the last 5-6 days, I think from their point, they're trying to do some kind of diplomacy. If United States of America is decided to do a military attack to Iranian, I mean supporting Israel, I think the conflict will be more difficult, but we have to wait and see, because I still feel that what Mr. Trump is trying to do is more influence to the Iranian to come back to the table with different kind of regime. But again, we don't think that Iranian will be that easy to accept all of this kind of pressure from America or Israel. They have to get the chance to do as much as they've done for the last 5 days. Israel was not expecting that the reaction of Iran will be that strong.
Mr. Markov, what do you think here? Now, do you think President Putin has linked stability in Ukraine with peace in the Middle East as well? Do you think that Russia is trying to leverage the Israeli-Iran crisis to push back against Western dominance globally, or simply managing multiple fronts under pressure? And also, if the Americans get involved, will the Russians also get involved militarily?
I think that Russia technically beneficial from those war between Iran and Israel, but strategically can lost a lot. First of all, because of this conflict, we have increasing of the price on the oil, and Russia will get a lot of billions of dollars, additionally probably dozens of billions of dollars. Also, China, who is getting oil from Iran and from Russia, will be now have problems with
so Iranian it's basically a strategic interest for both countries.
Yes, but it's tactical. It's tactical benefits. Also, United States will have to stop to giving any weaponry to Ukrainian army. But it's tactical. But strategically, if United States and Israel will make a regime change in Iran, and Iran will leave anti-Western coalition, but and will join Western coalition. Of course, it can create problems for such countries like Russia and China.
Okay, Mr. Mohannan, now with China and Russia offering alternative diplomacy, how are they recalibrating their foreign policy, and is there growing trust in non-Western mediation amid the U.S. entanglement, especially that we've seen the U.S. being a guarantor in a lot of the conflict that's been happening in the Middle East has been quite unsuccessful, in fact, probably more pro-Israel than anything else?
Well, foreign policy usually is a reflection or a mirror of local policy. The three countries are involved in this matter is Iranian, America, and Israel. The three countries has very essential local issues, makes the local policy has to do something regarding the influence of the foreign policy. So I think we are expecting within the next few days, something will happen soon to show that it's not exactly what America is dreaming to do in order to assist or to help Israel, that the world are waiting, the region are really affected badly. The economy and the strategy of the world are waiting for something reasonable, some kind of wisdom will come up very soon to stop this kind of unimagined strengths to the area. Hopefully something will come up soon to show that the diplomacy can do a little bit part even at the last moment.
Okay, now, Mr. Markov, now can we also get your take here? Given Russia's deepening ties with Iran amid the Western isolation, how does Moscow reconcile its strategic interests with concerns over Iranian destabilization that could spill into the Caucasus or Central Asia?
I think that Russia not interesting Iran to leave this anti-Western coalition, and of course Russia used Iran as some kind of source for the cheap drones and cheap rocket missiles in the beginning of the intensive Ukrainian war. Now Russia already produced all these missiles and drones, and Russia already not have real military technical interest in cooperation with Iran about Ukrainian war. But same time, Russia has about stability on the Caucasus and so on, and Central Asia. Russia concerned about instability because of radical Islamism. And if radical Islamistic government in Iran will be replaced by a more moderate government, it could be possible to have more stability on the Russian Caucasus and in Central Asia.
Okay, Mr. Mohanam, can we get your take here now? President Trump insists on the unconditional surrender of Iran, rejecting ceasefires. Is this even something that is possible, and does this strategy increase the risk of missions creep, and could Congress push through war power legislation? Also, I mean, why would the Iranians do this, given that it's almost equal footing when it comes to Iran and the Israeli conflict?
Well, expectation of President Trump and Israel that Iran will surrender sometime, it's a kind of dream, because I think under all this kind of pressure, the Iranian has the dignity, and they will defend against the dignity at the last moment. Especially, they show some kind of success for the last different waves of those missiles. It make actually Israel in a miserable case. So I think something will happen soon. Hope will go to the side of diplomacy more than the destruction of the area. I hope that.
Okay, Mr. Markov, now China has been quiet diplomatically with both Iran and Israel. Does this suggest a long-term strategy, and is Washington behind the curve in understanding the new dynamics of soft power and economic leverage in this century?
I think that Israel, of course, will continue to this attack, rocket missiles attack, and so on. But at the same time, there are no opportunity to have a regime change by military means, as Americans did it in Iraq, because Iran is 90 million people, and also United States has very bad experience about last aggressions against Afghanistan, against Iraq, and so on. And I'm sure that Donald Trump absolutely no chance to send American troops to the Iranian territory.
But if an attack happens on U.S. assets in the region, this is also still a possibility, isn't it?
No, it's no possibility, because United States understands that they have absolutely no chance to be successful on the Iranian territory if the troops will be sent there. But what they will try to do, to use protest inside Iran against radical Islamist regime, because a lot of people in Iran they want to diminish radical Islamistic demands to the normal life. They want women to choose the clothes themselves, and also to get away another limitation for the normal life of normal people in the house, on the streets. This will be used by United States very intensely. Yes. That's why Israel now targeting not only military but also civilian authorities buildings.
Okay, that was Mr. Sergei Markov, a former advisor to Russian President Vladimir Putin, and Mr. Ahmed Mahadem, writer and political researcher. Thank you both for your insights and your valuable time. And this brings us to the end. The Middle East stands at a precipice, with global powers entangled in a high-stakes dance of diplomacy and deterrence. This brings us to the end of this episode of Think Tank, which always unveils the very complex world we live in. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for more here on Q News.